Hey everyone, welcome to our next operations episode of the Moscow division. We're down here at Tenson, and I thought it would be fun to walk the streets a little bit so you can see what's going on. That's looking down the street there, and here's going down the other way. And here's our train where we left things off the last episode. We had just arrived. And what we're going to do now is we're going to break our train apart and get to delivering our cars into the town, to the industries and customers here. So with that said, let's get going. So here we go. What I want to do is we're going to put on our tags, and if you remember, we set the train up so the front half is all Tenson. So these are our Tenson cars, and then the rest of these are all Moscow. Oh, and I see we've got some Tenson in the middle here. I don't know how that happened. We were trying to avoid that. Okay, well that tells me that what we're going to do is let's pull the Tenson cars off the front, and then we'll grab those ones that are in the middle. Okay, so with that said, let's make sure our switches are all straight. And then let's go up here. This is where it's at. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our tags off here. When we actually get to ready to switch, we're gonna pull the front locomotive and use that as our switcher. We'll leave the rest of the locomotives connected to the Moscow cars, and then when he's finished with his work, he'll reconnect with the locomotives and the train will be able to move on its way. Let's make sure our switches are all set here. We have a problem there. But we'll address that in a minute or so. And, well, there you go. In our route building episodes, when we get down here to Tenson, we'll fix the track so that the trains won't go up the spur here. Instead, they'll stay on the main line, which are these two tracks. And we'll use directional markers to make it so that they will no longer use this track. Okay. Well, with that said, let's go ahead and get our train here. Let's see where these cars are all going. We have brickyard, and then we have plastics, and the locomotives. I think our first task today will be to organize our delivery based on the location of these industries. Our time is about 2:30 in the morning. Okay, now we're going to pull the Tenson cars that were in the middle of the string. And then we'll put the Moscow cars back together and we'll move them out of our way so that we can maneuver here in Tenson. Oops. Well, that was a little bit harsh. Hopefully we didn't derail anything. Let's go up the line and make sure. And there's our steam train. Okay, our Tenson cars basically end right here. So back here, oh, we've got some Tenson cars back here too. Well, I'll tell you, I thought we did a better job with our cleanup or organizing for this train, but apparently not. That's sad. Okay, so these look like the furthest back Tensons. So let's grab these. These are all Moscow. Okay, we'll pull these all back and get these situated. Here come the Tenson cars. Brakeman does his thing. And I see a problem here. This is the... Let's see, the left side door. Huh, that's interesting. Let us see. Why is that not working? Left door. That's interesting. Oh, there you go. Look at that. We got it to close. Okay. I don't know if I closed it in Surveyor or in Driver. Okay, with that said, let's get this thing rolling here. We're obstructing traffic down here. Let's see if we can couple these a little more civilized and not so violently this time. Okay, now the remaining tension should be at the back end here. So let's get down here to our switch. And now we'll pull them forward. Then our last step will be to connect the Moscow train up, and we'll push it back so that we have room to maneuver, and then we'll go from there. We'll have to organize these cars for delivery and get them delivered to their customers. Brakeman does his thing. Now we're going to push all the tents cars onto the siding, and we'll go fix up our Moscow train so that we can get to work. There we go. Okay, so now everything on this train is for Moscow. Okay. Let's make sure that we're clear back here, because I'm going to back him up to this signal here. So let's just make sure we have no traffic. There we go. That's all green, so there's nobody coming. Okay, so let's push him. Using some sand to get him moving. Time is 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, we're good there. We're protected by signals. So what we're going to do now is we're taking the front. That's nice. I learned on a video that these B units, reason it has a light here, they could actually move these around. They could have, there were controls in here to allow them to move them around the yard. So you didn't need the A unit. I never knew that. So learn something new every day. Okay, so we're going to be working down in this area. I'm going to have him come up here, and we're going to pick up the cars and drag them up here. And then we're going to make use of this track, this track, this track, and this track to organize these cars. So at some point, we'll have to test if you can actually, in Trainz, drive the B units. They went to the trouble of putting a headlight on it. I think if you assigned it a driver, you probably could. You just wouldn't have a cab you could jump into, I think. Okay, we got our work area set up. Now we're going to pass this signal at danger. We know what's going on ahead. There are the cars that we want to work with. So that's what's causing that red signal. And here's our cars. Just curious. There's a light there, but it doesn't light up. That's too bad. Okay, so we're going to bring him up to here, and then we can make better use of the tracks up here. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have. Okay, we have a brickyard and we have plastics, warehouse and plastics. So, and there's another warehouse and paper products. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 industries that we need to find. Now we know where Brickyard is, so let's go over and find our other industries. I'm going to jump into Surveyor because it just seems to be easier to identify these industries. Okay, so here's our plastics. Don't have any other industries over here. Do we have anything here? What's this? This is the paper products, so that's where they would go. So we have paper products and plastics over here. And then paper products and plastics. The warehouse. I believe the warehouse is right here. So there's the warehouse. We've identified where paper products going. We know where the warehouse is. We know where the plastics go. And then the brickyard, of course, is in the back there. Okay, well, let's get this thing organized. So let's see. We probably okay, so I'm going okay, now the warehouse is, we're going to park him over here because that's basically where the warehouse is. Looks like we've got a couple of cars. So we're going to come out and we're going to cross over right here. We'll drop all the warehouse cars off on that track. And it's just a matter of pushing them down there when we're finished with the other industries. We'll leave the brickyard car next to the locomotive because that'll be the last delivery that we make. That's all the way over in that area there. I think our first Delivery over here will be the paper products, and then we'll drop the plastic products off, and then we'll take the brickyard over, and then we'll come over and push the warehouse. So that will be our plan of attack here. Okay, so now we've got 2 warehouse cars to bring out. And I think what we'll do is we'll bring the first car here, then we'll leave the plastic cars here. The other warehouse car will be joined here. We'll pick up the plastic cars and tow them back and join them up with the I guess we don't have anything to join up. I guess we've pulled all of them, haven't we? No, yeah, the paper products cars. And those, of course, will stay basically at this end of the train because that's the first ones we're going to drop off. Since this is downgraded, it ought to go quicker. It's moving. Very slowly, but it is moving. Now we want to keep control because we want to crash the cars together and derail them. Like we almost did earlier. And we've effectively blocked the main line. That's nice. There we go. Brakeman does his thing. Now we come up here. Just have to get him past this switch, and then we get off this grade, so it'll speed it up a little bit. Now we're grabbing the remaining cars and we're gonna pull them out and go set out the cars. Brakeman does his thing. And now and they are moving. We just have to get past this switch here and then we can start pushing them in to set them out. Okay, so our paper products are first. So we're going to go up here. We're going to go up here. And then we're going to go over here. And that gets us to the paper products. Up. Plastics is next. Let's see. How do we get over to the plastics? That's not it. Ah, there we go. Here's the plastics. So that goes there. That goes there. Okay, there we go. We'll put these two over on this track for now. Okay, so we're going to end the episode right here. In the next episode, we'll finish up at the brickyard, and then we'll get our 2 cars over to the warehouse, and then we will put our Moscow train back together and get it on its way to Moscow. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing. Your subscription will help ensure this type of content is available on YouTube. It also helps the channel grow. If you like this particular episode, please hit like. The like will help us grow our audience. And if you have a comment, please leave a comment. And if you want to be notified when the next episode comes out, hit the bell. And with that, I will see you next time. Bye.